Hey, this is Doug Carr from Martech Zone, and welcome to my article on content libraries. Or if you're on YouTube, you might have found this video on content libraries. One of the problems that I'm continuing to see over and over and over and over and over again with content producers, websites, and companies that are producing content is this endless stream of content. Endless. So 3 blog posts a week, or 5 blog posts a week, or a blog post, every couple days, and the repetitiveness. They're shallow and repetitive, and it's and so when I take over a website, we're doing one right now for a client. I am finding hundreds and hundreds of articles that all touch on the same topic. And now, reverse this from a customer experience view, that if you wanted to go to a website and see a specific topic, and then you saw that they had 100 different articles on it, it would be infuriating and it would be frustrating. Well, user experience matches search experience. Google is trying to give you the best experience that it possibly can when it consistently ranks content, for you. And so when it says that this is a great article online, what it's saying is, hey, we went and indexed that article. We found that there was a ton of information on that article, and it seems to be everything that you thought it was. And then everybody around the internet, kind of put these indicators out there, backlinks, mentions, everything else. And because of that, they validated that this is the best article. And so a content library really needs to be definitive. And so stop producing blog posts on a daily basis or a regular basis that are just nonsense, 250 words or 500 words, and there's no depth to them and there's nothing in them. Start to create a picture. If you were your customer, if you were your client or prospect, what kind of information do you need to be successful? And if you can build that library on your website and have that content just be superior to everything else, guess what? You engage, obviously, you build trust, you build authority with that person, and ultimately they're going to come to you for help. Now, on the B2B side, there's a very distinctive process for stages. You can look at this up on my site, B2B buying stages. And there's things like, I'm going to read from my other screen. So problem identification. So somebody says, I have a problem, and they go search about that problem. And so sometimes they just want to learn more about that problem. Why does it exist? Not necessarily whether there's a solution for it. How much does it cost? Is there any, movement out there in the industry? Is this something that's in common with everybody else? And so in your content library, if you can help people understand their problem, you're going to help them. And you're going to be there very, very early in their buying journey. Because if you can help explain what the problem is and quantify it and what the value to their organization is or the cost to their organization is, now you're there on the first engagement that they have going and researching this problem. The second one is solution exploration. So now people are going to say, boy, I need something to fix this problem. Well, if you already helped them with the problem identification, you probably got some cues in there to help them with, understanding that you're the solution that they can select. But there's other places out on the internet that are going to talk about solutions. Martech Zone is a perfect example. I talk about solutions all the time. And so if you're looking for SEO tools, you come to my SEO tool page and you're going to see a ton of articles about SEO tools. An SEO tool company should be on that page. And so they're going to want to be there. And so you want to be where people are exploring for solutions. And so your content isn't just limited to what you own and what's on your own site. You have to look at that content library and say, okay, what's the information that we have about the problem identification? Now, what solutions are out there? And so you'll see this on websites. A lot of software providers say, hey, here's who we are compared to this company or this compared to that company. A huge search out there is instead of this CRM, what's an alternative to this email marketing platform? Well, you can be where those searches are looking and you can have that content where people are looking. Then it's building requirements. So now you have the problem, you understand what solutions are out there. How do you build requirements around that? So do you have specific systems, integrations, challenges with people, automation, all of these things, what processes, people, platforms, what kind of requirements can you build around it? Well, if I'm a solutions company, I should help you build those requirements because it's going to help me differentiate myself to you. And in the process, now you're going to start asking questions that your competitors maybe can't answer, or they don't differentiate themselves the same. And then supplier selection. Now it's that validation. So what kind of third-party analysis and statistics, awards, certifications, customer testimonials, what kind of stuff do you have that says, hey, we should be the cream of the crop? And when you're looking at your content library should touch on all of these things. The next thing that happens is, of course, validation. So the company comes back and say, okay, we want to actually talk to somebody from sales. Here's our problem. We saw that you're a solution. We saw that you're a good person in the marketplace. Here's a couple extra questions that we need answered by you. Can you answer those questions? And then the last one is consensus building. Within the organization, they're going to go to a team, and that team is going to have maybe one or more decision makers, and they're going to provide the case on why they should buy your solution versus a competitor's or anything else. So if you have a content library on your site that helps every phase of that buying journey, now you've encompassed all of it. And so the thing is with your content library, right? If I was going to write a specific, in fact, this article, so I'm writing about content libraries. One of the reasons why I'm putting out a video about content libraries is because I rank pretty high for this article. Obviously, people are finding it of value. I've got a bunch of information in that article. I've got some statistics in that article. Like one statistic is that Backlinko analyzed, 1 million results online and found that the average number one ranking page had 1,890 words on it. So is that little production line, blog post that you guys keep putting out? Or is it this article that you continue to refine over time? My content library article, I've probably rewritten it 3 or 4 times, and I continue to add sections, and I continue to add interesting statistics. I want to add diagrams to it too. I might even throw a worksheet or checklist on there. So what I want is I want my article to be the best everywhere. And so I'm not going to write about content libraries 43 times in 26 different posts and white papers and everything else. I want my page, I want my content library on my site to have this in complete detail, from what is it all the way through solutions, identifying how to write them, how to complete it, how to plan it. And so I'm going to maybe for you, this is an exercise that you could do. 12 topics that your customers are asking about your products or services. So maybe cost, obviously, is one of them. Expectations on deliverabilities, expertise that people might need on it, competitors and what the landscape looks like. And so that vendor selection side, you're going to want diagrams. You're going to want video. You're going to want articles. You're going to want primary research. If you've done studies on it and you have research that supports your hypothesis, you want to put that on it. If there's secondary research out there, if analysts and stuff like that have produced information that supports what you're saying, you're going to want that on there. You want to organize the page beautifully. Maybe you have a table of contents at the top and a breakdown and action plans and a downloadable worksheet. Maybe it's an ebook that you point them to. You want all of these things. Basically, you want to take those 12 topics that you thought about and you want to make them the most beautiful, complete articles on the web. And then guess what? You're not done. You're going to go back a month later and retouch them. 2 months later, 3 months later. Sometimes I go back a year later and I redo articles. I did one earlier, Valentine's Day. It was Valentine's Day social media contests. And so I noticed that I was ranking high on it. I noticed that it started to get, some visitors in January. And so I said, boy, this is an opportunity for me. I went to the page and it had old data, old examples, everything else. I went out and researched a ton, provided them all, pushed them back, and that skyrocketed the page. It ranks really high now on Valentine's Day social media contests. and it's going to bring people back over and over to my site. And so that's what I'm talking about. And so when you're talking about a content library, think about the buying stages that your consumers or businesses are going through, what information that they need online, write that information, what research that you can find that supports that information, and then what media that you can produce for it. So it could be infographics, graphics, diagrams, white papers, checklists, videos, what have you. And that's what we're getting at. And now when you do that, here's the amazing thing. You're going to find that you're actually writing less content. So you're going to win some time back. You're going to continue optimizing these pages. You're going to see a higher conversion rate from these pages. You're going to see them rank higher. And you're just going to get overall, you're going to be able to optimize instead of this struggle of just production. And so get out of that production mode and get into this library mode. Think about that defined library that you need on your website to produce. I guarantee it. When you do this, whether it's 12 articles or it's 40 articles, when you do that and you start redirecting traffic from the 34 blog posts that you had to this monster, article that you have, you're going to watch engagement skyrocket on this, and you're going to get better and better. You're going to rank better. You're going to get, like I said, you're going to get deeper engagement. You're going to get your time on page is going to go up. Ultimately, your calls to actions are going to get clicked more. If you're a publisher like me, you tend to see ads get higher click-through rates and higher conversion rates. So my pay-per-click goes up, my AdSense, revenue goes up. All of these things kind of work. And so think about it as a Netflix. Netflix isn't just trying to add nonsense videos over and over and over again. What they're trying to do is build out a beautiful library that's very attractive to people and then maintain that library. And so they get rid of, shows and articles that basically aren't cost effective. They are investing in new shows or new entertainment that they think is going to drive more attention. And then they're not worried about developing a 2-minute video. They're going to throw millions at producing an entire series. And so that's the way you should start thinking about your website, about the owned media resources that you have, the earned media resources out there where you can spread your information. Become a subject matter expert at every stage of your consumer or business's buying journey. Produce all the information, become the expert, and you will become the source of information. When you become the source of information and Google is ranking you in that top 3 spot, the business comes with it because you've already gained trust and authority with that consumer or business. And so the conversions will come with it because people trust your instinct. I'm doing a ton of these. This is actually my first time doing a video for my own website, but I am doing digital marketing courses through Butler University for some very, very large organizations. One of them is an international healthcare company. If your company is interested in having me consult with you on building out this content library kind of strategy or anything, just let me know. You can contact me at DK New Media and I can get you all the information that you need. Or if you need a custom course, developed for your company to really help your staff kind of understand, this strategy, let me know. I'd be glad to help with that as well. That's it. Thanks. And thank you for reading Martech Zone. I really appreciate it. We have just done incredibly well this year. And when I say we, I mean me. It's just me. But we have a ton of guest authors and people on the podcast and everything else. And if it wasn't for my readers sharing all the information, obviously this site wouldn't be as big as it is. So thank you so much. All right. Have a great day.